We are back with the Buffalonian podcast. I'm Joe Cali. As always, I'm joined by Dom Loss. And Dom, we're coming off of a rough loss last night. Just got the word that Ken Dorsey has been, in fact, fired, relieved of duty prior to making that graphic this morning. But if you're just listening and you can't see exactly what we put up there, the Bills, according to New York Times Playoff Machine, have dropped to a 23% chance to make the postseason. So listen, it's a rough game all around. To lose the way they did with 12 men on the field, just rough coaching. It's not a good day to be a Bills fan. Bills media is going crazy. Now the Dorsey thing kind of shook things up a little bit, but for the most part, it's doom and gloom. So I guess just general thoughts after a loss like that.
I mean, first off, the game script. I mean, you literally just can't make that up. Like, they take the ball, win the coin toss, take the ball, do what everyone wants. First play of scrimmage, they fumble. They have another interception go right through a receiver's hands. They have a, down 4, have the ball, 40 seconds, maybe get some momentum back, throw a terrible interception. You have another fumble where you're kind of getting some momentum going, and you just screw. You just can't even get a handoff correct. And then, of course, the 12 guys on the field. It's awful. I mean, it's just so. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm trying to collect my thoughts here, but it's like I have a lot of thoughts, but then when I start speaking, I have no thoughts.
I mean, it's a lot of thought, but there's not a lot of words to put behind the thought. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't know what to say.
I think it is fair to say the season's. I'm just gonna say it. The season's over.
Listen, at this point, I think 23% generous.
I don't even care about the percentage. They have no chance. No chance. That calls me I don't think anyone's going to disagree by saying that. You can't.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I mean, you lose on the road to a sorry New England team.
Mm-hmm.
You lose at home to Denver. You can't make this up. You really can't make this up. The Bills. I think the most infuriating part, and maybe this is some kind of optimistic thing or whatever, is that, but it's not optimistic because their schedule gets incredibly harder. The Bills, three of their 5 losses, Jets, Broncos, and Pats, literally all, especially when Aaron Rodgers got injured, all they needed to do was not beat themselves. That's all they needed to do. Because they are a significantly better team than all 3 of these football teams. And they did. They beat themselves. And you know what that is? That is a team that is not motivated, is not in the right headspace, and is not well coached. This is a poorly coached team. This is one of the worst coaching jobs of the entire season. And it's one of those situations where it's tough because last year you had all those injuries on defense and you still had 13 wins. And I said after the season that was the most unenjoyable 13-win season I probably will ever have in my life.
I think we all agreed on that.
I felt I was being the bad fan because I was like, man, this sucks. I know we won 13 games, but this is not very enjoyable.
You had no hope going into the postseason. The way they played.
Somehow they took that and they've made it worse. Now it's just so. Now we're not even getting. Now they're playing bad. They're playing stupid, and we're not even getting the results of a dub. We're actually losing.
Yep.
And listen,
you're dropping games you should be winning. That's the problem.
I'm not surprised that Ken Dorsey gets scapegoated because he gets scapegoated. Let's just be honest. This is a scapegoat mood. And listen, Leslie Frazier got scapegoated after last year, and did he kind of deserve to get axed? Probably. His stats were well, but he wasn't doing. I think both coaches. both coaches probably deserve to not have a job with the Bills anymore because of what was happening. And yes, I know Dorsey looked like his statistics and all that, his analytics, like all that, but
Yeah,
it just there's something wrong with this offense that just I mean, I just can't put your finger on it other than it comes down to execution and scheme, and it seems like both are just so bad right now that they're like it's like they're fighting with each other. Like Ken Dorsey just got fired, and if you had told me that like a couple weeks ago, I'm like, okay, this is great, like this is gonna help everything. But like after this game, it's like I don't know, man. They had 4
what is?
turnovers. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's not really. It doesn't feel like it's going to be
I mean, he had one
groundbreaking.
bad 4th down call that I didn't love, but Josh just for a reason doesn't find Kincaid in the flat, and he doesn't run the ball. He had one bad series in my mind where in the second half, tie game, 1st and 10 at their own 35, they went pass when they were actually just destroying them on the ground. I mean, I don't know what to say because this is a scapegoat mood. Joe Brady is not going to really answer. I'm sorry. Is that I don't know how anyone thinks midway through the season, especially on a short week. I mean,
Yeah,
we
I
can't
don't
care about
listen.
that.
I don't think he's going to be an answer in any way. He might not be an upgrade over Dorsey at this point. Like you said, short week, mid-season. It could be just as bad, if not worse. So next season, this is going to be a position they have to figure out and upgrade on. Absolutely. Like this has to get figured out. If you really
The
want
whole
to be a
staff.
championship caliber team, which say?
I think we're gonna see how serious Terry Pegula is about winning this offseason
Yeah.
because the whole
Do you think
staff
there's
should be.
a nice little fire under McDermott's butt on the seat right now? Is that what you're
I think
saying?
the whole
Or
staff. I mean, you know this. I've never been a fire McDermott guy until
no.
11-13 and whenever that field goal went through the uprights. I'm sorry, like you can't lose that game, and you lose that game because your players all year have had this sorry ass energy.
Yeah.
Of oh my god, all the defense injuries, oh my god, the turnovers, like we just can't get our own ways, and they say the same stuff. I'm
Yeah, they're
sorry, it's
throwing a
just like
pity party for themselves.
what
It's
is the
ridiculous.
point? I just don't understand the point of the post game interview. Like, why does I don't know why anyone subscribes to any of that. It's just a load of crap.
Yeah.
And
No.
I think listen. I will say this: 2 things are true. I think one is McDermott is not Marty Schottenheimer. I mean, that's just a poor comparison. I'm sorry. I hate when
Was that a Colin Cowherd comparison? I think it
no, it's
was,
just
right?
everyone says
No?
it, and it's just a really shitty comparison.
Yeah.
Because Schottenhauer was. I'm sorry, I'm swearing a little bit. Like this is kind of
No,
what's gonna
no,
happen
dude,
today.
it's doom and
But
gloom. All right. Look at the title of
Schottenheimer
the
was
episode is The Sky is Falling. You're allowed.
Schottenheimer
You're
was a dude that
permitted.
just never came through in the big moments, and like he was like 1-14 as a head coach in the playoffs. McDermott's
Mhm.
won games in the playoffs, so I just think that is a trash comparison. Like I'm sorry, like I'll defend McDermott like just the slightest today about like that. Like that's a bad comparison. We could do better than that, people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's lost. This is lost. I mean, I think looking at perspectives from past players and how they're looking at the Bills from far, it just the accountability just seems to be lost. I mean,
Yeah.
it happened after 21. It happened after 13 seconds, kind of firing the special teams coordinator and scapegoating him instead of being like, "No, man, like we just." Leslie Frazier, he gets scapegoat, and now Ken Dorsey does, and yeah,
Also, you see other coaches making lateral moves to different positions as well. Just want to throw that out there. Chad Hall.
yeah, no, you're
So
right. No, you're right.
listen,
And
I've kind of
but
been saying it, but not like fire McDermott. Just kind of been like, okay, I can see where people are
no,
coming from.
I think they
But
need to fire him. I think from my perspective
I
is
applaud you just going out there and saying it.
well,
Come on.
this is my perspective, and I'm being serious about this. Is that do I think McDermott is a good coach? Yes. Do I think he's coached the happiest memories of my Bills life? Absolutely.
Yep.
But it's point in relationships when you gotta know the cost benefit of relationships and know
Yeah.
when to move
Cost
on
benefit
and
analysis. Yeah.
cost benefit analysis. Right now, the costs of McDermott just outweighed the benefits at this point because they got the offensive coordinator wrong. They're terribly coached. It seems like everyone's having a crappy time. The vibes are dead. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're
No,
buried 6
they're
feet
not even
under.
resurrectable. They're gone. Like I do not
Yeah.
feel excited. Like I was saying, I sat down last night. I wasn't even excited to watch that game. Like I had no like normally I get that little pit like of excitement, anxiety, good anxiety, nothing. Nothing. I felt absolutely nothing.
No,
Just
I
nothing.
did too. I did not care. But no, they need a new voice. I think it's
Who
I
would you?
don't know.
Is there anyone now that you would like? Or is that still too early of a
It's
question
hard
to ask?
because he signed that extension for $8 million, so they're gonna have to eat that, which I'm gonna say right now probably not gonna happen if we're being realistic.
Uh-huh.
And then you're gonna have to take a first-year head coach, and hopefully it all works out. But
You think you could
like,
restructure him to defensive coordinator?
what is if you don't fire him? What is the way they're gonna go? They're gonna try and hire an offensive coordinator outside the organization that wasn't quite good enough to get a head coaching job, but good enough where he could leave his organization to go to a better OC, and we're all gonna be on our merry way. It's like, no, like I just think we need. I think there's a need for fresh blood, because I think this roster window is closed.
Gone.
I mean, it's closed this season, and I think the way that they're capped out next season, I think it's closed next season probably.
Uh-huh.
So I think next season would be a great season to experiment. I shouldn't, experiment is the wrong word. Is to put a new coach in, put his system, have that kind of 2020 season, maybe, of being really good, but not quite good enough to beat the lead of the league to win the Super Bowl, and then open it back up in 25. I think that's what you had to look at. I mean, it sucks. I mean, what? Josh is
27.
27?
Yep, 27,
so he's
I believe.
28 in May. So no, I think
his younger years are out the window. I mean, like younger years. You know what I mean? It's just like,
but it's getting closer and closer to 30, and it's closer and closer to there just needs to be change. I mean, this is not enough change for me. I'm sorry, this doesn't do it for me.
Well, here's the
special teams. The special teams has been a disaster all year.
Yeah,
I mean, awful. I mean, the Sam Martin. Another thing I don't understand. Why did we? I gotta look this up to double check this. I'm pretty sure we gave Sam Martin a 3-year contract, and he had one of the greatest punting performances I've ever seen. He has sucked for 2 weeks now. Literally has sucked. And how many more times am I going to see a line drive punt? Yeah, 3 years, $6 million. What the? Okay, that's like the worst That's like So
yeah,
it's a situation. It's that this team is going to miss the playoffs, and there needs to be a situation that, how do you turn around? And the question is, can you turn around with this regime? And
do you think McBean can do it? I don't think you're turning around with McBean. I think Bean might stick around, of course, but I
don't think they're going to be able to do it with this coaching staff.
No. I think you need. Listen, as horrible as it is to say, all right, like, you got to start fresh. Like you said, you got to breathe fresh life into this team. And another thing too, I mean, defensively, McDermott has done well this season. I will say that, calling defensive plays, just head coaching in the offense.
The defense has been awful, and it's injuries, but
yeah, I mean, with what he's working with, I'll give him a little bit of credit on that, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know we said the pity party thing. I'm not throwing a pity party for him.
Sure, but you can't, like, talking about, I mean, the cover zero was so dumb.
Right. Yeah.
It's a dumb call. It's basically suicide for no reason. It's literally committing suicide for no reason. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, why would
you're gifting them a first down?
Because it's either, we sack them or whatever, or we get an incompletion or whatever, or they just throw the ball up and get a stupid underthrow PI, which it was PI. So, and then they're in field goal range, and then your 2 timeouts that you have is something. Like, what could have happened very simply is that they play zone, they get 7 yards, and they say, screw it, we're going to kick a 50-yard field goal, or they go for it and you stop them on 4th down and you win the game. But acting like that was like, oh my God, it's third and 10 from our own 25. Like, I would have understood the call if they were in field goal range on 3rd down and was like, you know what, we're not playing for the down distance. We were playing because they're in field goal range. And we got to get a negative play here. That all makes a lot of sense. The problem is that logic was the thing you did the play before, and it worked because it got him out of field goal range. You didn't need to. It's like when you play Madden, you like are so excited to play the next.
Yeah, you get a good. Oh, I got a blitz. I got a blitz.
You double click the button too much, and you put the play in.
Yeah. Is it the Madden curse?
And listen, your thing about saying the sky is falling is wrong. The sky is fell. I mean, it's fell.
It's shattered on the ground at this point. Listen.
Chicken Little. Chicken Little. I'm sorry for anyone but Chicken Little is dead. I mean, Chicken Little is, he ain't with us anymore.
All right. Listen. Okay. One thing this morning, all right, that was brought up that I have not seen much of is the whole Madden curse conversation. Okay.
No, that's
very well. Okay. We very well could be dealing with forces out of our control.
Didn't you make a comment about how you're so proud that no one has made a comment about Haley Steinfeld?
Yeah.
Okay. Stop. Don't keep me
I gotta stop.
That was anyway. But listen,
it's you're like you said, it's like we're breathing that paper bag full of our own carbon dioxide. We're just breathing it in. Like you need to rip the bag open and get fresh air breathed into this team.
Agree.
That's what has to happen.
This team next year.
Isn't it sad we're like saying there's no shot of the playoffs? Like that's horrible.
No, but
first time in pod history.
But listen, this team next year the offensive line is going to be pretty much the same. Other than I don't know if Spencer Brown comes back because he's a free agent. They're still going to have James Cook. Yeah, they're still. Well, he's been pretty good this year. But
this year,
right? You're right. They still have James Cook coming back from the running back position. They still going to have Diggs. They're going to have Shakir. They're going to have to figure out that second wide receiver position, and they have Kincaid, and they're going to have Knox. So they have pieces offensively where if you would get a Ben Johnson. The problem is this: is that you have to hope that these offensive coordinators that are so good can also be a good head coach, and you don't know that for sure. But I think you just had to take that risk. So like a Ben Johnson from Detroit, Kellen Moore from the Chargers, like get one of those guys in here, and let's roll the dice with an offensive minded head coach. It's not so much. Oh, it has to be offensive minded. It just like needs to be fresh blood, and it just seems like it's more optimal to have an offensive minded head coach be the fresh blood when you have a $250 million quarterback. So who's the offense has its pieces. And the defense is going to have some pieces as well. I mean, you're going to get Milano back. You have Terrell Bernard under contract. You're going to have Rousseau, Oliver, the DT after that. I mean, it's a little bleaker defensively. I mean, you're going to have Benford. You might have Rasul Douglas if you want to bring him back. I mean, the defense is going to have to be reworked.
Yeah, quite a bit.
They need to get more athletic defensively. And they need a whole overhaul offensively. But at least next year, it seems with the people they have under contract, they have the pieces. They have the pieces offensively next year to bounce back. And I think under new leadership and a new guy calling the plays could be right back up there. It's just the eye test is not matching the stats.
Unfortunately, not.
It's what's happening, and you can't have 40 minutes of time. Like all people want to do is talk about success rate and EPA or whatever. They had the ball for 20 goddamn minutes. Like what are we talking about? Like they had the ball for 20 minutes. Like that's are we gonna say that's a good offensive performance? And yes, turnovers and all that. Like you would think turnovers would be weighted a lot more than they do apparently, because like those are bad turnovers. You turn the ball over twice deep into your territory. You threw an interception in field goal range. Like you cost you 3 points there with the Davis, drop interception. The fumble and the other interception, you cost yourself another 6 points because that was what the Broncos got. And the fumble, heck, you could make a case they cost them some more points because they were like what? I'm blanking on if it was 1st and 10, but they were around midfield when they fumbled.
Yep. Yeah. Right away, right? You're talking about
first and 10. Excuse me. 1st and 10 at the Denver 48. So I mean, you cost yourself. I mean, so all 4 turnovers probably cost you at minimum 12 points, maybe 15,
maybe more. Yeah.
And so like, it just comes down to mindset. I think the mindset. It's not so much. I think scheme-wise, offensively and defensively, there's a lot of things that I just don't like the play on the cover zero. I don't like some of the play calling from Dorsey, but I just think it's mindset. And I think that's the biggest thing is that
it hasn't felt the same.
The culture is broken, and yeah, man. I just like there's no obvious solution. And I don't think there's a situation where I don't know. So I mean, I will briefly the producer who is out celebrating his girlfriend's birthday. So happy birthday,
happy
Kylie.
happy birthday, Kylie.
Wanted me to do a Dom 5. I kind of already said most. I don't even really have them out, but I'll just list out 5 things off my mind of the game.
And we'll just chat. Yeah.
Then we can just chat, and I'll go to talk about at least we have, dude. At least we're going to the game tonight with the Sabres.
Yeah, at least we're going to the Bruins game. That should be a good one. Hopefully, the Sabres pull out a big win for the city.
For a guy, Kyle.
Yep, big boy. Kyle Okposo, the slowest skater in the NHL, but yeah, we'll get to that. What are your 5 talking points you'd like to?
Well, I mean, I guess we'll just add the Dorsey thing. So, number 1 is scapegoating is elite. I mean, I don't think any team scapegoats like the Buffalo
better
Bills.
Than the Buffalo Bills. No, they do not.
And that is a poor quality to have.
Extremely.
All 3 major coordinators now have been scapegoated.
Yep.
Special teams have 21 in consecutive seasons. I mean, so yeah, no one scapegoats quite like the Buffalo Bills. It's
like that Spider-Man meme where they're pointing fingers at each other. That's all that's happening around the organization. So if only Terry would get some media time to maybe speak on what his mind is about things, but whatever.
I guess two would be Terry Pagula may have to lease out that yacht because he's going to be paying Sean McDermott's
salary for a while.
Out, hopefully.
Yeah.
3 would be, I don't think Joe Brady's the answer. I don't think much changes. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, maybe that's just me being incredibly negative, but
I mean, it's tough to be positive.
Listen, all this stuff that we're saying, I'm 100% willing to be wrong on. I hope I'm wrong on, but I think I'm going to be right on. So that's 3. 4 is 4 is Josh Allen. 4 is the unknown of Josh Allen's involvement in the offense. You know, are they running these basic concepts because he likes them, or
is Dorsey just kind of
what is his role in this offense? Because he handpicked Dorsey, and that was a mistake. So I think at least next time, even if McDermott's the coach, they're going to go outside the organization, and I think Allen deserves a lot more blame for the whole Dorsey situation than he does. Because I mean, I gotta assume he has a lot of input in the offense.
Yeah. Well, that was his guy. Like you said, that's who he picked,
and it didn't work out. So he deserves a lot of blame for this debacle
that we're currently
and how his decision making just continued to really be unfortunately bad. It's a lot of mental with him. It feels like it really feels like he's on a mental slide right now, and that's why they need a new voice. I think mostly for Josh. It just seems like he's mentally checked out. It doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like he enjoys playing football right now.
Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like he enjoys playing it.
No, I mean, and that's the most deflating part about it. I think just watching it like, we talk the Sabres, right? They look like a bunch of just dudes having fun playing the game. That's what the Bills
they have the same problem, though.
Like. Yeah, they have the same problem, but that's what the Bills used to look like. They don't anymore. I sit there, I'm watching a game. I don't even get up and cheer anymore. I remember when 13 seconds happened, I'm running around the house like a madman. You know what I mean? And here I am where it's a close game at the end. I'm falling asleep. Like, that's the epitome of this season and how the team is. I mean, I just saw this real quick. I just got to throw this in there. Bills offensive slumps, and because everyone, even myself, has said, the Bills were 11-6 in 2021, and then they played the best game of all time against the Patriots, and that was the 13-second season. So they can still come back. Whatever. I still don't know if I feel like that. Bills offensive slumps in 2021 and 2023 seasons. 2021, the record 2-4. Points per game, 22.3. Total yards, 359.7. Giveaways, 13. 2023, record 2-4. Points per game, 20.5. Total yards per game, 356.2. Giveaways, 13. Both most in the NFL. Could they come back from this? Maybe. I'm not going to be optimistic about this. I'm just going
to find you to say one thing. That 2021 schedule at the end was Swiss goddamn cheese.
It was easy. You could slice through it.
They played the Panthers, who were bad. The Falcons, who were bad. They played the Jets, who were bad. So that's 3 wins. So that's 10-6. And their only really quality win was that road win against the Pats. You know what I mean? Like, the Bills' schedule the rest of the way, their next 7 games are Jets at home. We already lost to them once. Eagles, tough game.
Yep.
Chiefs, tough game. Cowboys, tough game. Chargers, tough game.
Yep.
Patriots, you're at home. You already lost to. And tough game in Miami. So, like, I don't. Yes.
I don't care about 2021. They're
are the
similar,
slumps
but
comparable? Are the slumps comparable? You're absolutely correct. But does that mean, they could turn around? Hell no.
no.
Because the context of both teams are radically different. 2021 had a healthy defense. This team does not have a healthy defense. 2021 had an easier schedule. This team has a hard schedule. 2021 had vibes.
Even with Josh Allen's turf toe, we had vibes. The second half of that Tampa Bay game had vibes. They were actually through the roof after that game.
Also, the last game that they lost to Tampa Bay when they were losing
in overtime, wasn't it? Or was it at the end?
Losing 24-3 or whatever it was, and they came all the way back and almost like the vibes kind of were restored. It was like, oh god, this is the momentum we need. The last game that just happened in that streak was we just lost because we had 12 guys on the field. What are we talking about? What are we talking about here? I mean, we just lost a freaking football game because we had 12 dudes on the field.
And a timeout left. A coach didn't see that.
But
we didn't have a timeout?
No, but we called timeout. And then they kneeled.
Yeah.
And then like how is and then the accountability, man. Just be a man and have some accountability. We practiced that play 3 times over the course of the week. And we just didn't execute. Like, what a lame freaking way to throw.
And then a couple weeks ago or last week, we're still trying to figure out the offensive identity. It's week 10. What are we doing? Why are we trying to do this still? It's week 10. Can we please
well, why didn't you go up? I'm tough more. I don't have a good answer for you. I mean, this is just so lame. The accountability from this entire organization.
Speak times 50. It's not even athlete speak.
It's not even like, we're just doing a PR stunt of like trying to like avoid having. It's just like you're doing that, but also you're not even taking accountability. You're just like throwing your players under the bus.
He did it with James Cook yesterday. Did you hear that?
James Cook had a pretty good game, so it wasn't like awful, but like James Cook, and then you have Gabe Davis who's a captain, lets a freaking fastball go right through his hands
and into another defender's hands. So
for an interception, it's just the lack of accountability for players on this team. Because like, how many more times am I going to see Josh Allen go to the sideline like look like he's about to cry? Like
he looked like his post game conference. He looked like he was about to break down.
Is someone allowed to yell at him?
Like Dable used to? I wish.
I mean, it's not even about Dable. It's just like, can someone like get in his face and like tell him like, hey man, like this is unacceptable.
Someone did. If only you could see my full arms. Someone did last season.
But I mean, is someone consider this unacceptable? I mean, James Cook's never had a problem fumbling on his first NFL touch, didn't fumble until tonight. He gets benched for a quarter and change. Yes, I know he fumbled again, which is kind of bizarre, but I mean, it's just pathetic. I mean, the whole situation is pathetic. I don't know. I think I was on 4 actually, so I think that's my last one down 5, and then we can go to the Sabres.
Cook. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The 5th one is that I would recommend everyone watch some LSU football games. They have a couple games left. Florida State has a couple football games left.
Watch some college football. Enjoy your Saturday.
Watch some college football watch some of the top wide receivers in the country. This is a loaded 2024 receiving class.
Yeah, I think the Bills have the 9th overall pick right now. If it stayed like this,
no, they don't.
Something like that. I saw someone say that on Twitter this morning.
They definitely
I was dying.
That is way too high. They probably like the 16th. Let's be fair. They're 5-5. They probably like the 16th.
But you're right. This receiver class is
you
stacked.
Probably get like the 3rd wide receiver off a stack class. So yeah, man. I that's what I would have for you. I mean, it's just pathetic.
Dude, I felt like Caleb Williams last night. I want to go home and curl up and watch a show with my dogs. You know what I mean? That's what I felt like.
I mean, you lose a game because you have 12 guys on the field. That is
you deserve to be the laughing stock of the NFL. You deserve it. You deserve
I
it.
saw this stat where the average field position for the Broncos was their own 41. I mean, really, like what are we doing here with this? Like this is
we've talked about it. I mean, you're a huge proponent for special teams is a third of the game, and we have had no special teams help for weeks.
All year we've had bad special teams. And then this year, I mean, the turnovers, it's just pathetic. But on to the Sabres we go, huh, buddy?
Yeah, I guess I'll do a closing statement real quick, if that's all right, before we talk about our exciting trip later today to KeyBank Center. Just listen, I literally had a hype video ready to go, thinking they were going to win this game. We're done. There's going to be a hype video leading up to the draft on who we could pick at pick 4, because that's how bad they're going to be with Joe Brady. I don't know. Listen, last thing I'm going to say. We could be surprised, right? There's always that slim 1% chance. Am I holding out for that? Absolutely not. I'm with you. I think we need a fresh start, fresh breath right into the Bills offense and entire team, organization. I listen, McDermott he got you to where you need to go. You've been to the playoffs. You've won games in the playoffs with him. So again, the comparison you mentioned is definitely not accurate. You gotta find that coach that's going to take you all the way and really just bring the vibes back to Buffalo. Like, please bring the vibes back. This is horrible. Last year, even at this time, we were talking, like you said in the beginning, the vibes were kind of gone. Like, they were like winning games, but they weren't like winning. Like, it didn't feel like, it was just weird. This season, it's just, I don't know. I'll go back to my reference when we talked about Craig Anderson in the beginning of the pod. I mean, they're a lukewarm pile of dog shit sitting on the field from 1987. Like, that's what they are. They're not steaming hot. They're not cold. They're just lukewarm. They're just there. They're losing games. Like that's what it is. And I hate that. It's the first time in pod history I think we've ever said they're not making the playoffs. I mean, will it be the first time and only time? I don't know. Most likely not, if they're going to retool everything. So listen, they got to make the most of Josh Allen while they still have Josh Allen and that offense as well. And I don't know. Could Joe Brady surprise? Odds are plus 8,000. I might take him. We'll just see what happens. Give myself a little excitement, but I don't know. It's Sabres time though. What do you think?
Sounds fantastic to me.
Yeah. So I'm just pulling up their schedule here. We are going to the Bruins game tonight. That will be a lot of fun. I'm hoping they can bring vibes to Buffalo, right? But we don't know. So in their last series, right, up until today, they lost against the Hurricanes 3-2. That was an OT, right? Yeah, so they got a point. And then they beat the Wild 3-2, so that's 2 points. And the Penguins stomped them 4-0. So we look now. Talk about what just happened to Ken Dorsey. That just happened to the Sabres. So 4-0, they just got murked pretty much by the Penguins. Not a good game at all. But tonight, look for a bounce back at 7:00 p.m. against the Bruins. I mean, let's just preview this game because we're going, but I'll look at the other ones real quick. So Friday, they take on the Winnipeg Jets at 8:00 p.m. And Sunday, they play the Blackhawks at 7 p.m. And then that's the last game before we do the next pod next Tuesday.
I mean, there's like a non-zero % chance that we're watching the beginning of that game before the end of the Bills game next week.
Oh, yeah.
The Bills play at 4:25.
Yeah, they do play 4:25.
I got something about the Bills. They're just like they're making me want to.
Listen, it's literally just it's like a skin tag. You just got to rip off. Unfortunately,
so, with the Sabres, it's just really mediocre.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't define mediocre better than being 7-7 and won 15 points in 15 games.
No,
that's the definition of mediocre, and it comes down to the fact of the Sabres. I said this like early in the season, like all the talk of oh, we're a playoff team. Like, that's what we expect from us. It's just like, you guys just aren't playing loose and free.
No,
Like,
they aren't playing like they did last year. The vibes are
like
gone.
the vibes are low. I don't think they're gone. I don't think
No,
I think the
they're
vibes
just
can be restored.
low.
The vibes at least can be restored.
With the win against the Bruins tonight,
like,
a commanding victory, they could be restored.
It's like, you know that scene in Toy Story 3 when all the toys are going to the incinerator?
Oh no, dude, that movie kills me. Yeah.
So
yeah,
like all the stuff that's coming into the garbage that's already burnt, that's the Bills vibes. Woody and all of them are the Sabres vibes. And
they have a chance to escape.
We need the aliens, the mini aliens, to come in and restore the vibes.
Yeah. Sean McDermott's Lotso, the bear that's scapegoating everyone and just
that's just on a truck.
He's gonna end up attached to a garbage truck getting shipped out of the city of Buffalo. But anyway,
Jesus, oh my god, Toy Story 3. We did need to make a comic because that was creative. It's just mediocre, and this team's not playing loose and free. They're playing uptight, and it just seems like the expectations of the season are weighing on them. And it just also just doesn't help. I'm sorry, it just doesn't help that when you just have like black holes in your lineup, and like, you know, we talk about accountability with the Bills. Oh my god, the Bills are just like, it's like a
no, it's literally like an implant in your mind. Yeah, you never can get past it.
I just never get past them. But the Sabres, the same lack of accountability really frustrates me. With the fact of Oposo and Gergensen just don't have it, and Eric Johnson doesn't have it. Like, these two guys don't have it, and Eric Johnson's awful. He's a horrendous hockey player. You know, former first overall pick, won Stanley Cup. Congratulations to you. You are horrendous at hockey right now, and you are dragging the ship down. The ship going down, and we have Ryan Johnson, who looked pretty nice. You know, had a couple nice plays. And guess what we're gonna do? I mean, I will make a bet as long as if they go 12-6, Ryan Johnson's gonna get scratched tonight.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this game.
We're gonna do it again.
We're gonna have Eric Johnson be playing over Ryan Johnson, even though Ryan Johnson looks 100% better than Eric Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. I mean, it's pathetic. I mean, another thing that's just pathetic. I mean, it is just. It is embarrassing. Ryan Johnson played 4 years of college hockey. This isn't some. Oh man, this is his first year. Like, this isn't some Swedish defenseman that's playing his first year in North America or anything. Like, my brother in Christ, like, this dude was the whole point about him being 4 years in hockey, college hockey, was that he was pretty much like NHL ready.
Yeah.
Like, you gave him a couple weeks to give him a couple weeks, but like, I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore about this. Like, Matt Savoy comes in and plays 4 minutes of ice time.
Yeah, they send him down.
And they send them right down. It's like, okay, great. I'm so excited to watch Lucas Ruzak and Victor Olofsson play hockey. And again, for the we you know what? I don't care about the movie counter. We're talking about Yuri Kulik counter. Second week in a row, this man is watching Victor Olofsson. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand how, if you're gonna have the expectation that you are a playoff team, why aren't you fielding your best team? They aren't. They are just like refusing to field their best team.
They're acting like they're out of the playoffs and they're just experimenting again. Like, that's what it feels like.
But Joe, they're not even playing their best dudes.
I know.
Their best dudes are not playing. Like, I don't understand this. Like, I don't understand. Like, can we at least get a look of Yuri Kulik? Like, is that like breaking the law? Like, what are we doing with all this? Like, why you can't? This is why I just take this. The Sabres, like, at least the Bills. Again, I'm just gonna mention the Bills are just like a cluster, and like we could just like they're just so broken that we don't even know if they're repairable.
Yep.
The Sabres are just so unserious. They are the most unserious team I've ever seen. They have this like, oh, we're all mature now, you know, this is our year kind of stuff, and then we're gonna have Victor Olofsson playing. We're gonna have like Ryan Johnson not be playing, and then we're gonna have. I can't say this enough. We are going to have a power play that has sucked for a year, a calendar year, ever since January. So, I mean, 11 months, whatever. Has been awful. And we do the same stuff. I mean, they have not done one single adjustment on the power play. Be like, you know what? Maybe instead of having Tage, they take away Tage. Maybe instead of having Tage there, we move Tage around, or we change someone who's going to be on the far wall, or we take something.
Do something.
There is no accountability, Joe. There is no accountability for anything.
Dude, you don't have to tell me. You're spiraling right now. You don't have to tell me.
We have Jeff Skinner on the power play. How many more times am I going to see Jeff Skinner throw the puck and skate? I love Dylan Cousins, my guy. When is someone going to have a conversation with him about being like, hey, man, like the puck, like you got to manage it better, man. You got to stop turning the puck over. Like, I'm sorry, what's his? You got to start being like Casey Middlestat a little bit more. Casey Middlestat has become kind of a beast with the puck. Like, you can't he holds that thing. It's like the 4 pressures of football. Like, he has a 5. Like, he just uses his chin and everything. He holds that puck. Dylan Cousins is out in the open. It's like James Cook.
Isn't that wild? That Casey Middlestat is
around fumble. Like, we are not playing our best guys. Our best guys aren't even playing super well. I mean, I think Tage is playing well. I think Power is playing well. Dahlin has not played well. It's so like the power play is coaching. The power play is a situation where it is 100% coaching. And it's frustrating because the PK got off to a good start, but you know the PK is going to regress a little bit, right? So like you would the power play is literally killing them. It is a waste of 2 minutes. It is a waste of 2 minutes for me. Like it is like I just know I'd rather have them play 5-on-5. And it just falls down to coaching. Like the coaching of the power play is pathetic because they haven't changed anything around the fit. They just keep banging their heads against the wall and hoping that someday that their head magically goes through that iron part of the wall. It's like, okay, yeah. You know what? Let's do that. It's like you're in a basement and you're just banging your head against the wall. It's like, yeah, buddy, you're underground. There is no light in the tunnel. And then the lineup decisions. Like the lineup decisions are awful. And I know Tuck is injured, and hopefully Tuck can come back. And I think they said he's going to come back Friday, so we're going to unfortunately miss him tonight. But it's like, what if Alex Tuck comes back? Can we please get Yui Kulik in the lineup? Like, can we get Skinner, Thompson, Tuck? Can we get Greenway, Middlestat, Kulik? Can we get Peterka, who's playing really well? Shout out to Peterka again. Cousins, whoever you want. Krebs, and then have the fourth line just be Girgensons. Like, is that too hard to ask? And then you know what's going to happen too is I'm going to love this. Well, first off, Jack Quinn coming back hopefully in a couple months will be a good boost to the team too. So I just think from my perspective of this is by the time Quinn coming back, if we could get time for Kulik and Tuck comes back, getting Quinn back, I think fills a lot of holes to the lineup.
It does. It helps.
You could rotate in people a bit easier,
right?
Out of the lineup. I just think this is unserious. This is an unserious team. We're going to play Girgensons in the post to 82 games. Like, who thought that was a good idea? We're going to play Eric Johnson 82 games. I mean, it's just those 3 players are not everyday players. They're like MLB players. They're like Major League Baseball players. You know, they had 162 games. They probably should play 100. Give them 60 games.
A fraction of them. Yeah,
They
should be playing all of them at all.
But they won't do it, Joe. They will not do it. They will never do it. And that is why we are just stuck. We are not bad. This is not a bad hockey team. It is a mediocre hockey team. And
that's the thing. It's just like you said, the vibes are they're not gone, but they're low. They don't look like the same group of dudes that were dying laughing as Subban's brother was singing the national anthem and they were goofing around with each other. They don't look like the same young group. There are a couple guys that are much better off. Casey Middlestat, for example, than when Peterka. Like those guys, the vibes are high. We need the rest of the team to live up to what they were doing when those guys sucked. And we need, you know what I mean? Like that's what we need. And you're not seeing that. It's just, you need, like you said, Okposo should not be playing that many games. Okay. Slowest skater in the NHL. I get it. You're a leadership guy, right? He's your captain. At the end of the day, you brought him back to keep the same core of the team. He shouldn't be your number one option out there, like to throw in there. Like you said, should be like an MLB player. Just play 100 out of 162 games. That's what he should be. Like I don't think they did enough in the offseason. I think you alluded to
this. We talked about this ad nauseum. They just didn't. And you know what they're going to do now? You know what they're going to do? They're going to sign Patrick Kane to like a 2-year.
I was just going to bring that up. Have you seen that started really recirculating the past couple of days? That like this
is going to happen, Joe. It is going to happen. The only reason why they have I kid you not. Today was the Ken Dorsey news. I think tomorrow is the Patrick Kane news because
after they drop a game to the Bruins tonight, is that what the Patrick Kane news?
Because I don't think they want Patrick Kane. You know what? I may be wrong. I might rephrase in 2 seconds. I don't think they want the Patrick Kane news to overtake the Kyle Oposo 1,000 game. You know what I'm talking about? Like his 1,000 games tonight. I don't think they want Patrick.
No,
Kane's
they don't want the media
that.
to be like, yeah, completely forget about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Listen.
The
Sabres play Black Friday, November 24th, Friday, Black Friday, the day of Thanksgiving, at home against Pittsburgh. I think that's that morning, the morning after Thanksgiving, they're announcing
That's
Patrick
when we
Kane
hear.
as a Buffalo Sabre. Yeah,
Listen.
and you know what? You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna be fantastic. They're gonna sign him to a 2-year contract. I mean, the surgery that no one has come back and been productive off of. I don't care that he's never been injured before. No one has come back from this hip surgery and been productive. We just had Nicholas Baxter basically have to retire from the league because he's not the same guy. This is a guy that is not a good defensive player at all. His offense, his power play impacts have gone down. But you know what? Screw it. I might as well, with a broken power play, give it a go. I mean, I just can't. I mean, we have a guy in Rochester that is a power play god in Kulik. You're going to tell me that we need a power play?
We're going to leave him down there. We're going to leave him down there. We're going to leave Skinner on the power play, even though he's the best in 5-on-5. Because that's our guy.
It's just a lack of coaching. Like the coaching is awful
for both teams.
On both teams, like this is not that difficult. I'm sorry.
You know what though? They're both kind of I've seen a lot of comparisons between McDermott and
Donnie G?
What's Donnie Granato? Yeah, geez, senior moment. I've seen a lot of comparisons being like, we might see what happens to McDermott happen with Granato, where, yeah, he's going to be the team that gets you into the playoffs, wins a couple playoff series, right? Couple games in the playoffs. He's that developmental coach that'll get the team, the culture back to what it is. And then he's not going to be the one to get you over the hump. Like that's what I've been seeing a lot of.
Joe, I don't even know if he gets to that point.
You don't think so?
If they miss the playoffs this year and they get like 82 points,
he's done. I think he's gone if they do that.
Like, I think he has to get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how could you not? Like,
listen. I'm
definitely
being optimistic with what I said, but yes, I think you're being realistic.
The roster management was poor.
Yeah.
Right. The goaltending, the whole goaltending shaboom, the whole what they're doing at the Forge is poor.
Mm-hmm.
The defense is kind of working out because I kind of like Connor Clifton. I think Yoki Haru has been god awful. Mm-hmm. I think Darlene's underachieved a little bit. Of course, Samuelson's been kind of hit or miss, but whatever. Eric Johnson's a black hole. But you know what's great is you signed a Ryan Johnson, so you could have just done like the Indiana Jones
NHL ready. Mm-hmm.
The Indiana Jones
the Crystal Skull
of replacing the golden idol with a bag of sand is what they're doing now. Like they have a golden idol and Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson, the golden idol.
Mm-hmm.
The bag of sand with Eric Johnson. They're not equal. Yeah. They're just and
now you're running away from a boulder. Like that's what you're doing. You're running away from a big boulder.
What drives me up the wall too is like the Darlene Samuelson pairing this year has not worked. Like they haven't been good together. They've actually been really good apart from each other. So like, why not have Darlene Ryan Johnson?
Imagine that. That'd be wild.
Samuelson, Clifton, or Power Yokiaru. Like, I just like this isn't that hard. I mean, this is why they're just so unserious, so unserious. Like, this isn't complicated stuff. This isn't like advanced calculus we are doing and losing them on the way. It is like, these are your 6 best players. These are the most optimum pairs for these 6 best players to play in. To make 3 successful pairs. Let's do that. Or hear me out. Let's do option B of not your 6 best players and not your most optimal pairs and wonder why we are stuck losing a hopeless game to Pittsburgh for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And can we please get back-to-back games from Levi? Levi needs to take over the net. And
we saw the high of Luukkonen, and we're already seeing the inconsistent crash of Luukkonen. It's already happened.
Don't be stupid. Like, I think what should happen is Levi should get the game, and I think he is getting the game night, so I'm happy for that.
Yeah, we get to see him. Yeah,
we get to see him. I think he's getting tonight's game. He should get the game against Winnipeg, and then it should be UPL, Levi. Levi should get 4 of the next 5, but he shouldn't play the back-to-back, which they did earlier in the year. He plays 4 of the next 5, and then all of a sudden, and that's like no. I think you got to ride him a little bit. Now is that a little? I'm defending myself from my point of early in the season. I was mad that they started in 4 straight games. I'm not saying start in 4 straight games. Because if you look at it, he's starting Tuesday, gets 2 days off, Friday game, gets another couple days off, Wednesday game, Friday. So only one of those games would be 2 and 3 days. And if you and then you play Monday. I mean, like, this isn't. I mean, like, he's your best goaltender, and like UPL hasn't been awful. Like, credit to him, he really hasn't been awful. I think. The Pittsburgh game was a little bit of a bad game, but the team was lifeless, so I'm not going to completely, shoot them and all that jazz. But
all I'm saying is you've seen, like we always talk about, Levi or Luukkonen being hot, cold. You're already seeing starts of that this early in the season.
I think he's been mostly good enough. Like he's been good enough. There's actually
this is an improvement from last season already with him.
It's just this offense is bad. This offense, for every reason, the offense and the power play is bad, and they're also not they're not producing a lot of offense on 5-on-5. Like, I don't know what's happened to this team, but like, they're not producing offense this year. I think they're like the bottom producers in like expected goals for. I mean, the offense has just been this has not been a fun team to watch, to be honest, because at least last year you're gonna get those 6-4 games, and they were gonna be entertaining. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's just you. I don't like. I just think it's funny. I do want to say this, and like I might get in trouble for this, but I don't care.
Oh, God.
I think it's funny that like there's 2 fan bases here, Sabres and Bills, and like some people are in the middle, some people lean one way or the other. I just think it is absolutely comical, really comical, that the Sabres leading fan bases just roast the Bills nonstop for what's going on with them. It's like, people, have you looked like your team in the face? Like, your team's
look at yourself.
Your team is doing, like, you said how comparable they are. Like, the Bills are 5-5, they're 500. The Sabres are 7-1, they're 500. Like, are we gonna sit here and be like, oh my God, yeah, the Sabres 10-4-2. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? You guys are in the exact same boat.
Yeah.
And like, your future looks a heck of a lot more lighter than the Bills, but like, when is that future gonna hit is the big question. And I think that's like marginally funny. And then like the whole Patrick Kane stuff, it's like, okay, like come at me with that stuff. Like, really, we're gonna think this guy is gonna be like the savior. But you know what? I've come down to, though, Joe. I will be okay with Patrick Kane signing with the Sabres if that means the Sabres get a boost in tickets, a boost in jersey sales, so that Pegula's.
Would you buy a Patrick Kane jersey?
They sign Patrick Kane, they get that boost in sales, more revenue, more money that puts in Pegula's pocket, and he spends that paying Sean McDermott for his buyout.
Listen,
I've come down. Listen, that's how low I am, man. That is just how low I am,
dude. I'm right there with you. I think, did I allude to it last week? And I think you were still kind of not on it yet. Like, I alluded to McDermott being the issue or whatever. I don't know if you were on it 100% yet.
I've never been okay. I've always thought that there's something wrong with McDermott because, like, the Dable thing, Leslie Frazier thing, like, he obviously is a controlling
Chad Hall, all that.
Yeah, he's obviously a controlling head coach. I never had a problem with it because they were winning. You know what I mean? Like, they were winning.
Now they're losing.
And now that they're losing, and like they're losing because of like
in spectacular fashion, by stupidity.
As I said before, like, you can't make stuff up how they're losing. Like, you can't honestly tell me for the game. Yeah, the Sabres, the Bills, man, they're gonna drive down, score a touchdown, take the lead. Up 1 point, they turn the ball over 4 times. Oh my God, 3rd and 10 when the Broncos are in field goal range. They're going to do a cover 0 blitz, get underthrown PI, and then you know what they're going to do? The Broncos are actually going to miss the game-winning field goal.
And then,
however, a flag. The only thing that could have been worse is if he tried to call timeout to ice the kicker and they didn't have any timeouts.
I know.
That's the only. Okay, back to the Sabres for 2 seconds. But that was the only thing that'd be worse. But
I will say one thing real quick before you continue. I came across this. Kevin O'Neill, the Channel 2 guy from Buffalo. He goes, "Is there a professional sports franchise anywhere that loses in such spectacular fashion? And is there a more tortured fan base in North America? And is there any more vodka in the pantry?" That's what he tweeted out after last night. I think that's hysterical. It's just that's the epitome.
Yeah, I mean, both franchises. I mean, it is very bleak for the Bills, and it's not bleak for the Sabres. I think I'm just more for the Sabres.
Sabres also have a long season.
I mean, they have 6 games. They can still make the playoffs. Am I being a little bit too negative on the Sabres? Maybe a little bit, but I think it just comes down to the fact of the Sabres' expectations are through the roof this year. I mean, they got to get in.
Mm-hmm.
The East sucks. I'm sorry. Ottawa's not good. Detroit, I don't think is very good. Tampa looks like they're kind of washed-ish. Like, I mean, I think that's my frustration is like Tampa is not playing exceptionally well. Montreal's not good. Ottawa's not good. Detroit's playing well, but like I don't think they're really all that great. I mean, Washington's not great. Like there's just a lot of teams that are just really mediocre.
Yeah.
And the Sabres should get in front of those teams. And I think the frustration part is that the product on the ice has not been very enjoyable to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing for me. And I think the thing also for me is like just basic lineup decisions and just trying out the same power play over and over is just at some point it's just like you say about the cost benefit relationships, like at some point you just have to be like, really, like, can we get some benefits here? Like,
Yeah.
the cost of it's like the cost of me watching the 2.5-hour Sabres game is this. 1, I get a buttload of commercials. 2, I watch the power play fail 3 or 4 times in spectacular fashion. 3, I get to look at Twitter from Amherst games, seeing that Yuri Kulik or Isaac Rosina scored. Fantastic. 4, I get to see Kyle Oposo and Zemnis Girgensons and Eric Johnson, who are the definition. I know we haven't done this thing in a while. The definition of past their primes.
Yeah.
Even past their peaks, their primes. I get to watch them bumble around the ice, and I get the occasional of, even Levi does this, the occasional of the crap goal, and it's just, man, it's just so much, man. I'm like, I need to go to therapy or something, but like it is just the Sabres.
Hopefully tonight, the Sabres game will be the therapy for us. Come on.
At least, I don't even leave with the Bills. The Bills just like are broken. The Sabres just can't get out. I mean, like every time they get that momentum, we're about to take off. Some person accidentally opens the emergency exit door, and the whole plane goes down. Like that's what we're at right now with the Sabres. Like every time they're about to take off, it's the check engine light has came on. Oh man, sorry man, the tire blew out. Like we're gonna need a second, or the engine's not starting all the way. It's like when you put the key
we're out of gas.
You put the key in the ignition, and the key gets that halfway, but you turn the wheel when you get out of the car so it doesn't go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where you have to turn the wheel back. And then you'd go to turn the wheel and your hand slips and your face hits the wheel.
Is this personal experience you're speaking from? Has that happened to you?
No. Oh. I mean, not that part. I mean, I'm not that confident, but
even smacked your face on the steering wheel.
But that's what it feels like. It just feels like they are so close. But it just seems like they're just like taking a 12 gauge and shooting themselves in the foot over and over and over again. I mean, their hands are a little black and blue because of the lack of circulation they had because they sat on their hands all off season and didn't make a single big move. And now they can't even hold a hockey stick.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen,
But the 3 games you said.
Yes, looking ahead.
Our game.
What's your record prediction?
Our game at 2-1. I'm gonna stay that they're gonna go 500. I think they win tonight. I think they use for as trash as I'm trashing them. They usually come up for big games. I mean, Craig Anderson's last game, the Jack Eichel, the original turn game.
Not the one we were at last year where everyone was booing and then Eichel gets the hat trick.
But yeah, I think they come through enough tonight to get the win. I think they win. I think they're gonna win Sunday, so at least we'll have one Buffalo team, one side happy. So I think they go 2-1.
I think they go 2-0-1. I think they actually get 1 point out of one of these games here.
Let's hope, man. They gotta get back. They gotta get to that 96-point pace, and right now they're in 82 through 16. So I'm 15. So they gotta.
I mean, they could get hot. Still do it. There's a lot of games left. So
I mean, has their highest win streak still been 2?
I think so. At this point in the season. Yeah.
They just win, lose. I mean,
yeah.
Come on now,
you're gonna just stay at 500 at that rate. I mean, let's be honest.
I didn't think get a couple wins. You know what? I'm changing it. 3-0. Let's do it.
All right.
They win all 3 games.
All right. And I'll stay at 2-0-1. I'll stay with that. I think they just get a point out of one of the games.
And I think the MVP, the most valuable player of the week, will be Kyle Oposo. As much as I trust him, I think he scores a couple goals, an OT winner for his 1,000th game tonight.
Yeah. Well, wait a second. Here's my question. Okay. I know this is off topic. All right. RG3 is taken to Twitter. Okay. Hire Dan Orlovsky in the offseason as your offensive coordinator.
You know what? Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, RG3. Let's hire a guy that has no experience ever calling offensive play calls and put him in the most disgruntled offensive. Yeah. You know what? That
he said he believes he can fix your offense and your quarterback's turnover issues. Why not give it a shot?
I mean, really? Are we being serious with that? Cool. I mean,
this guy rebutted. Buffalo likes people who actually season their chicken. LOL. I guess Dan Orlovsky doesn't like to season his chicken. I don't know. That might be news to me, but I guess
that's awful. That doesn't make any. Why would we want someone? We just want to do this with Ken Dorsey, a guy that's never called offensive calls. Why would we do that? I mean, yeah, that take can get shot to the moon.
Well, now here's my question. All right, just before we wrap up here, if they won last night, is Dorsey fired today?
No. That's what honestly. That's what I think is the best part about this is that it's actually an overreaction a little bit. If they don't blow the,
it's the scapegoat. You needed the finger to point at someone.
That's what I am saying. If they honestly, God, are we gonna be serious and say if they didn't have Tolman on the field and that field goal legitimately missed and they won 22-21, is Ken Dorsey still employed? Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
but I mean, here we go, man. I mean. But I mean, I unfortunately had the pleasure of having to work next week game in.
So do I.
So do you. So
I'll be there.
God,
shall be fun. Yeah, please.
Shall be fun.
Joe Brady.
Just no snow. God.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
I'll ask. not even gonna ask for a Bills win. That'll be too. I know that'll be too much for me.
Too much. Let's make it close. Come on. Anyway. Well, we're going to the Bruins game. We're going to hope for an upturn here. We're going to see what happens. But without further ado, that's going to do it for this interesting edition of the Buffalonian podcast. I'm Joe Cali. As always, I'm joined by Dom Loss. And how do you always end these, buddy?
Go Bills, baby. Don't scapegoat me.
Yeah, go Bills. Go Sabres. Go take the Bruins down. Let's go.